This is how we explored Germany and Austria in just 7 days. We're sharing our full itinerary, what we did each day, what we ate, and all the tips we picked up so you can plan this trip even better than we did. We're covering places like Innsbruck, Munich, Seefeld, and Neuschwanstein Castle, and we'll show you exactly where we stayed to keep drive times no more than an hour and a half. Our dream was to wake up on Christmas morning to everything covered in snow, and we finally got to experience it. Let's get into it. We rented a car and we highly recommend doing the same when exploring these areas. It gives you so much freedom because you don't have to rely on train schedules and you can see many beautiful little villages that you can only reach by car. Just make sure you choose the option with winter tires as the roads can be icy. We arrived in Innsbruck in the afternoon of the 24th of December and saw the city in the evening. We then left in the afternoon of the 31st after exploring Innsbruck in the morning, which meant we got a full day of sightseeing split into 2 parts. On our first day, we arrived in Innsbruck, picked up our rental car and headed straight to the Hard Rock Cafe for our Christmas Eve dinner. We booked Hard Rock Cafe weeks in advance because it was the only place where we could find availability and we wanted to make sure that we had a reservation. Ideally, we were hoping to change it to something more authentically Austrian, but that wasn't possible because that's when families get together for Christmas. In the end, we actually really liked Hard Rock and we were very happy to be there. After lunch, we walked through the fairy tale alley in the old town. Here you can see many facades decorated with characters from classic storybooks like Rapunzel, Pinocchio, Hansel and Gretel, and more. This isn't actually historical and it's a modern addition that was added to the old town around 28 years ago. Innsbruck is also known for its famous golden roof. As we arrived, there was a live Christmas performance happening on the balcony of the golden roof. This is a yearly Advent tradition where choirs and brass players perform old Christmas songs. After this, we were quite tired and headed to where we would be staying for the rest of the trip. We stayed in Mittenwald in the south of Bavaria to be close to places both in Germany and Austria, and it turned out to be a great decision. The longest drive we did was an hour and 40 minutes to Munich on day 7, and it was only 40 minutes to and from Innsbruck airport. Mittenwald became known for violin making in the 1600s when local maker Matthias Klotz learned the craft in Italy and brought it back home. His work turned the town into an important center for violins sold across Europe. Today, the tradition continues through a violin-making school and small workshops, and there is also a violin-making museum. On day 2, which was Christmas Day, we woke up to snow all around us, which was a dream come true. We walked to the old town from a hotel, which was about a 10-minute walk, and had our Christmas lunch at a typical German guesthouse restaurant called Alpenrose. Guesthouse restaurants are very common here. We ordered duck with German dumplings called Knödel and purple cabbage, which is very typical in Bavaria, as well as 3 different types of schnitzel. One was breaded with pepper sauce, one came with a creamy mushroom sauce and dumplings that looked like pasta, called Spatzel, and another was served with a creamy sauce and potato croquettes. We also ordered Augustiner beer from Munich, the capital of Bavaria. For dessert, Mom ordered something called a Germknödel, a large dome-shaped sweet yeast dumpling filled with spiced plum butter, popular in southern Germany and Austria. After lunch, we walked around Mittenwald and absolutely loved seeing all the beautiful houses covered in ornate paintings. Then later in the afternoon, we drove to Seefeld in Austria, an alpine town in the state of Tyrol, about 20 minutes from Mittenwald. There we came across a small Christmas market covered in snow in the Dorfplatz by St. Oswald Church. There were outdoor fireplaces, so we warmed up with eggnog and warm buttery pretzels. It was my first time trying eggnog, and I wasn't a fan maybe of this one in particular, but Mom really enjoyed it. We also walked around to see the Seekerk, which was behind the ice rink, which is connected to the Olympia Sports and Congress Center. In the winter, you can enjoy the saunas there or relax on the lounge chairs inside while looking at the snowy view from the pool. And with the church in the background, it's just spectacular. On day 3, we had lunch in Unterammergau, about 45-minute drive from Mittenwald, at a guesthouse restaurant again. 2 of us ordered the duck with dumplings and purple cabbage, along with an orange panna cotta, which was delicious, especially the cabbage and dumplings with the gravy. To be completely honest, the panna cotta was strange and we would probably never eat it like that again, but it did taste good and we appreciate the chef's attempt to do something different. The other 2 ordered roasted pork with pork crackling and 2 types of dumplings, the Knödel, which is bread-based, and the Klöße, which is potato-based. The pork was tender and absolutely delicious. The waiter was dressed in typical German clothes and the service was excellent. We loved the cozy atmosphere of this restaurant. After lunch, we drove to Neuschwanstein Castle. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it up close because we didn't leave early enough. make sure to go in the morning, especially in winter, as sunset is early at around 4:30. It's definitely worth seeing the inside if you can, but visits are only possible with a guided tour. I'll leave the tickets linked in the description if you're interested. For a magical experience, you can also go up the castle by horse carriage, which costs around €8 per person. Instead, we decided to visit the nearby town of Füssen. We came across a few Christmas market stalls selling glühwein, and we ordered both the white and the red versions. Definitely try the white one if you haven't. It's something different and you'll be pleasantly surprised. They also had Irish coffee, which we had never seen at a Christmas market before. After warming up, we visited the church of Neuschwanstein Castle, which was incredibly beautiful. Since it was freezing outside, we stopped for coffee at this place here, where they grind the beans on site using coffee from all over the world. We liked this coffee shop, but it was quite busy and there weren't many tables available. Speaking of the cold, most days we had clear skies and temperatures around 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which was cold but manageable. However, once the sun went down, it got much colder. Make sure to pack gloves, fleecy thermal layers, beanies or earmuffs to cover your ears, warm socks, thermal socks preferably, and proper winter shoes or boots, as most places we visited had snow, so make sure they don't have slippery soles. It snows across all of these areas, which makes them great for skiing. There are plenty of ski resorts, especially in places like Garmisch, a town we visited on day 5, which is home to a highly rated ski resort. One day while driving back, we passed the slopes as they were being prepared for the FIS Ski Jumping World Cup. Funny enough, we ended up watching the competition on TV a few days later once we were back home. On day 4, we decided to take a rest day and slow things down. I went into town in Mittenwald to get pastries, which turned into quite the adventure because everything was closing at 1 p.m. and I arrived at 12:45, and most bakeries were already empty or running out of options. I did manage to find apple strudel, plum tart, blueberry tart, and a few other pastries from Café Oberammergau and Ace Café Venezia, and they were okay, just nothing mind-blowing. For the rest of the day, we stayed in and relaxed, which is very necessary sometimes. On day 5, we drove to Garmisch, about 25 minutes away. We visited the Winter Park Christmas market, which had lots of food stalls and an ice rink. We had no idea it was even there, so it was such a good find. We absolutely loved it and could have stayed all day. We ordered hot Aperol, which had mixed reviews. I loved it, but Mom thought it tasted like cough medicine, and honestly, fair enough, but I still enjoyed it. For food, we chose cheese-filled sausages in a roll with mustard, and from another stall, we ordered the knödels. You could choose up to 3 flavors, so we tried bacon and cheese, spinach and tomato. They were served with brown butter sauce, topped with parmesan and placed on a bed of lamb lettuce. Unreal. We then walked around the town admiring the traditional artwork painted on many of the buildings. So beautiful. We bought cakes to go at Gröner Coffee House and Confectionery, a traditional German-Austrian cafe that has been around since 1934. At a nearby souvenir shop, we bought 2 Christmas ornaments for the tree, a nutcracker and a cable car with skis from a place called Alpenwelt Garmisch. As it got colder, we found an Alpine-style Christmas market with cozy seating areas and blankets. We ordered a hot chocolate, which was delicious, and everyone there was incredibly friendly. Before leaving, we visited St. Martin Parish Church and were especially impressed by the painted ceiling. On the drive back, we passed through Oberammergau. Unfortunately, it was quite late already and it was really cold, so we didn't get out of the car. But even from the car, it looked like one of the most beautiful towns we saw. Our plan for day 6 was to take a snowy drive and see some lakes. The drive itself felt like a winter wonderland, I'm not even kidding, with frozen landscapes and sunshine making the snow sparkle. We did get to see a frozen section of the Sylvensteinsee while waiting in traffic on the Vollerklam Bridge. Unfortunately, the road was closed and it didn't look like we would get through, so we had to turn around. That actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise because we found a cable car in Koschel am See. I really do apologize if I'm butchering these words. But it takes you from the village of Walchensee up to Varenberg Mountain. Tickets cost €21 round trip for adults and €6 for children under 15. And the last trip down is at 4:15 p.m. This is of course the winter timetable. The views from the top were absolutely gorgeous and we highly recommend doing this. There's also a cafe at the top where you can enjoy a drink with a view. For dinner, we ate at a tiny Christmas market in Mittenwald with just 2 stalls, one selling German sausages in a roll and others selling mulled wine and other drinks. We originally wanted to go to a restaurant, but since it was the holidays, everything was fully booked. Even on a Monday in a small town, reservations are essential. In the end, we really enjoyed the market atmosphere and the cozy vibe anyway. On day 7, it was time to drive to Munich. The drive was only, like I said, an hour and 40 minutes. We parked at a paid parking lot called Max Joseph Platz and visited Dalmai, a centuries-old luxury store in the heart of Munich. It has a high-end grocery market, a famous coffee and tea brand, a cafe, and a Michelin-starred restaurant. The market section sells cheeses, fresh produce, seafood, meats, and prepared meals that all looked amazing. Next to it is the gourmet section with teas, coffees, chocolates, all kinds of jams. And upstairs is the restaurant that we actually went to. The staff was super friendly and explained the menu to us. The boys ordered lobster soup and we chose the Christmas set lunch menu, which included tomato soup and duck breast with mashed potatoes and purple cabbage for 35 euros. You can also add dessert and make it 39 euros. After lunch, we went to Marienplatz to see the huge Christmas tree and the famous Glockenspiel. Just keep in mind that it only runs from March to October, with shows at 11 a.m., 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. and there are no winter shows, which unfortunately we found out the hard way. For panoramic views of Munich, we highly recommend going up St. Peter's Tower. It costs 5 euros and has 306 steps. It's not for the faint of heart or anyone with a fear of heights, but the views at the top were absolutely worth it. Afterwards, we picked up pastries at Züttel, including a wild berry-filled Krapfen, which is a donut, a vanilla Krapfen, and a Nussbrezel, which is puff pastry filled with ground nuts. We also spotted Café Kaisersmann, where they mainly serve Kaisersmann, and you can sit inside the cable car-style huts. It looks incredibly cozy. Kaisersmann is shredded pancake fried in butter and served with powdered sugar and jam or applesauce, and we absolutely love it. We had delicious Kaisersmann in Budapest in a beautiful restaurant, so definitely go check that out after this video. If you like Lego, make sure to visit the Lego store, where they've built detailed models of Munich and traditional German items, and even a spectacular Lego painting of Neuschwanstein Castle. On our last day, we explored Innsbruck properly in daylight. We went back to the Golden Roof to see it during the day, and there was a live band playing. We had lunch at the Christmas market on the same street and ordered hot apple cider, sausage with Bratkartoffeln. In English, it's German fries, thinly sliced potato fried in lard or butter, and Kaisersmann for dessert, of course, which was delicious. One of the market huts was the Kath Wolfhart's Pop-Up, a popular German shop selling handmade Christmas decor all year round, some of the most beautiful we've ever seen. After that, we headed to the airport, and that marked the end of our trip. We were honestly so sad to leave because we had such an amazing time. We saw the most beautiful places. You will definitely be going back to this area because there's so much to see and it's impossible to explore it all in one trip. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments if you've been to any of these places or whether you've added them to your bucket list for this year. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Safe travels.